My name is Jed Abbas, and this is the most important part. I am a Palestinian refugee. I was born and grew up in a refugee camp in Palestine. The name of my refugee camp is called the Hesha Refugee Camp near Bethlehem. And my village, my family actually uprooted from two villages. My dad from a village called Zakaria, and my mom from a village called Dijrash. And my mom, when she was uprooted from our village, she closed the house with the key because she thought that she will be far. She will leave the house for a few days and she will come back. She didn't take that much things with her. And she was waiting for a few kilometers or miles near the village because they were bombing the village. But my mom continued moving because they continue bombing until she reached the refugee camp. Why I say that? This is the way how I introduce myself. Doesn't matter what I do, my work, etc. In fact, inside me, I am still a Palestinian refugee. And this is the most important part in me. I would like to thank everyone for inviting me. Thank you, Rida. Thank you for Angela, actually. Yes. She was in touch with me. And thank you for the people they are hosting us. Thank you, for all of you here. And really, 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 I am honored to be with Malachi today. Thank you, Malachi. And Malachi, I want to say, I am like you. We are not that much different. There are almost 8 million Palestinian refugees. They were uprooted from their land, and they are still struggling for their land. I say this because I was like you. When I was a child, in your age, I was struggling. And by the way, this is why I told you I wanted to say something for you. I went to United Nations school, the UNRWA school. And the curriculums there and the education system, it's really very boring education system. So I learned in my history class that Columbus discovered America. And by the way, I was arrested, Malachi, they took me to prison. When I went to prison, I find out that Columbus did not discover America.
Columbus didn't discover America. The Native Americans were there before Columbus, and he was just one of the conquistadors that took the land.
Absolutely, you are right. This is what I learned in the prison, not in school.
I didn't learn this in school.
They still teach this in school, Malachi. Here in the United States, they still teach Manifest Destiny, by the way, Malachi. And they still teach in the world the same like Manifest Destiny, the Promised Land. You know, Israel, it's the Promised Land. Palestine, it's the Promised Land for Jewish people. This is how Zionist movement they claim. And sometime when I was young, when I used to hear that, the Manifest Destiny, and connect that with the Promised Land, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to do that, but I think, oh my God, God, it's like real estate agents sit down in front of the computer and just divided land for people, punishing others. Giving land to some people and punishing others. This is why we say, sometime when we study something, Malachi, in the school, doesn't mean everything is right. We need to think about it. And this is why we need to learn how to do the critical thinking about how they want to teach us the history. Anyway, I am just honored. I want to say I am honored to be with you, Malachi. And good luck with your struggle. And all of us, we are with you. And we will continue doing that with you. So me, I am working with Mecca Middle East Children's Alliance. I moved to United States 13 years ago. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I am visiting Fresno. I left my home this morning, 6:30 at morning. This is what I call it, collective punishment, Rida, to leave early. But I enjoyed the drive, to be honest with you. And to be honest, I feel very privileged for two reasons since I moved to United States. One of my privileges, this morning when I was driving, I can't drive 3 hours without a checkpoint in Palestine. And this is a fact. You can't have this kind of a drive, even more than 20 miles. All the time, a military checkpoint is everywhere, are everywhere. The second privilege, I can shower every day in the United States. In Palestine, it will be impossible. This is another issue about water issue. When we speak about apartheid, discrimination, the water issue is very, very important for Palestine. And one of the projects we are working in Mecca, actually, Middle East Children's Alliance, where I work, it's called Maya Project. Maya Project, we are building water purification and desalinization system in schools in Gaza Strip. You know about Gaza, right? I heard, guys, you were protesting 20 days ago, here too. But in Gaza, it's not only the siege the problem, the siege or the blockade for 15 years right now. It's not just the attacks where they bomb and kill. And in last attack, they already killed 268 people, among them 66 children. They were killed in Gaza Strip. The water issue is one of the biggest problems. Even Human Rights Watch, actually, in the last report, they refer to that 26% among young deaths in Gaza Strip, it's related to water, because the water is polluted. And not just because Palestine, we don't have water. Actually, we have enough water, but we are not allowed to access it because Palestinians, they are, in all Palestine, they are only allowed to access 15% of the water. But if you are Israeli and living in a settlement or inside Israeli cities, you can access 85% of the water. This is why I say I'm privileged here to have a shower every day or when I want. I used to shower one time a week. And by the way, in my refugee camp, my mom, she used to carry the water in her head for miles, 2-3 miles to bring it. And sometimes she do it twice a day. And this is why we were allowed to shower one time. And by the way, my mom, she passed away. But before she passed away, actually, her shoulders, the muscles, if she was participated in the international championship for bodybuilding, she will win. And not only my mom, all her generations, what we call it Nakba generation, the catastrophe generation. I am standing in front of you. I survived the refugee camps. I survived the tents. And I survived standing almost every day to get the food from United Nations because my mom. And most of the Palestinian refugees because our women. We give a credit to our women why we survived that life, because they helped us to survive and to be standing in front of you here, where my shoulders up, and I'm very proud to be a Palestinian refugee, because we never gave up our struggle. And regarding the water, this is why I speak about the water, I speak about women issue. And this is the struggle for Palestinians. This is the dilemma, actually. And when we ever come together, just a few minutes ago, I was talking with Kamal, and immediately we start speaking about what it means to cross borders, and the checkpoints, all of this. And for the people that are in this field, doesn't matter Palestinian or any other people living under oppression, sometimes we have accumulated collective trauma. Trauma built on trauma. And this is, I want to refer to Gaza Strip right now. Maybe you saw in the media. Gaza Strip, it's just tiny area, 139 square miles. This is Gaza Strip. You have 2.2 million people living in Gaza. Over 50% of the people living in Gaza, they are children. Actually, 43% of the people living in Gaza Strip, they are below 15 years old. So the moment we hear about Gaza, just think the majority, they are children. And when we speak about the Israeli occupation, and I don't like the word occupation sometimes, it's like soften what the reality. Actually, the Zionist colonial system. Because when the Zionists immigrated, came to Palestine, even in 1880s, 1890s, they came to replace the Palestinian. They did not come to live with the Palestinian. This is Malachi, the same story here. When they came from Europe here, they didn't come to live with the Native American. They came to replace the Native American and to use our resources, to take our resources. And for us, it's going on. I know, like, I can spend the whole day talking about that, but I refer that I learned a lot from my mom about what happened in 1948, 67, and the whole issue around Palestine. But I learned more too from other intellectuals. One of the famous books, actually, I refer the people, and I recommend it sometime. It's called The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine for Ilan Babé, where Ilan Babé is an Israeli scholar, and he's someone, he did the research in the Zionist documents, and he came with the result that what happened in 1948, it was an ethnic cleansing for Palestinians, 531 villages, 750,000 refugees, which right now the refugees, there are almost 8 million refugees around the whole world, including me here. So what's going on? It's continuous for the plan before 1948 and until now. But one thing I want to say, and this is, I do that, I am not a politician. I was working as a journalist for a while in my life, and now I am working in non-profit. But I love the work I do, because it keeps me all the time in touch with our community in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Jordan, in Iraq, etc. But one of the things all the time cheer me up, the people in Palestine. And even during the attack in Gaza, the most amazing jokes, actually, I heard it from the people in Gaza while they are under attack. This is the survival issue for us. And despite the fact that the United States government, they have full support, almost $4 billion every year go to Israel. The political support for Israel in the United Nations, the military support. And even sometimes when you think about it, it's like they are closing schools in Oakland, in Chicago. And the money is instead to use it here to keep the schools open and change the names of the schools if the names, they are wrong names. They send the money to the colonial system to support Israel. And this is one thing all the time we need to work on that. This is part of our work to stop this kind of support. And I say it, we Palestinians, we are not looking for charity. I'm saying this in a very proud way. We are not looking for charity. We are looking for solidarity. And there is a huge meaning between charity and solidarity. So part of the tasks actually in our shoulders here in the United States to change the policy, to stop supporting the Israeli occupation. And be sure, if United States, they will stop their support, political support, financial support, military support, everything will be okay in Palestine. They will handle it, the Palestinian. But this is one of the major issues here. Lastly, I will say, despite what Israel, they are doing almost now 73 years. If we go back, like a month ago, it was 73 years on the Nakba. And me, I say that when my mom uprooted from the village in 1948, my brother, he was 2 weeks old. My brother living now in the exile, he's living in Jordan. And for us, like as a family, and my mom, when she passed away, she kept the key with me, and it's a privilege actually for me. She didn't give it to my siblings. She said, you'll take the key. And all the time I compete with them because I'm the youngest. And by the way, my name is Zeiad. Zeiad means an Arabic extra, additional. I am the youngest, and according to my mom, I came by mistake. No plan for that. And she kept the key with me. And by the way, the key with me, it's still here with me in the United States. It's personal. I don't show it to the people, to be honest with you. It's something like from generation to generation for us, and the keys still with us, like most of Palestinian refugees. And I want to say the same. When I talk with people, like I have my colleagues, staff members in Gaza working in the projects there. We have our volunteers. We have different kind of programs. And still, when you talk with people in Lebanon, refugee camps, or in Gaza, or in West Bank, Jerusalem, 1948, still most of the Palestinian refugees, they still have the keys of their destroyed houses. The idea they have the keys of destroyed houses. My house does not exist. I went to the village many times. Our house not exist, but our houses exist inside us. Because as for me, it's the idea of homeland is when I can access this key. And if we speak about, I know you are in your center, advocating for peace and justice. For us, peace and justice means when we are allowed to access the keys of our house, even its destroyed houses. What I mean, right of return is the key of the peace in the Middle East. Without right of return, no peace in the Middle East. This is why my mom, she kept the key. I still have the key. I will transfer it. I hope I will be able to go back soon to my village. But if not, I will just pass it to the next generation too. And this is just we want to remember. The issue is not about one state or two states or three states or five states. I don't care. I care about my right as a Palestinian refugee, right of return. I don't want to minimize the other issue, the settlements, the colonialism, like the resources, but the majority, the issue in Palestine, it's the majority of the Palestinian people, they are refugees. Without that, there is no peace in the Middle East. And just I want to keep this in your mind. I want to tell you, Malachi, me and you, we are in the same case, and there are millions of people like you and all over the world where they are struggling for their rights. There are in Latin America, in Africa, in Australia, all the indigenous people right now, they are standing. And for us Palestinians, even after 73 years, especially after what happened a few weeks ago in Gaza and in Jerusalem and in West Bank in 1948, come on guys, we feel we are close. We are getting few steps ahead because we have amazing young generation. There are many, many, many steps ahead of our leadership. Kamal talked about actually in the beginning that our Palestinian Authority, not anymore they can represent us. But we have amazing young people. They are not afraid anymore, and they are leading us for freedom and liberation. Thank you.